Kiss man.
Yes now, hey.
Good day. Welcome back to our YouTube channel. So if you're new here, my name is Stifler, and if you haven't subscribed, please rush to subscribe, as it helps us a lot to keep on creating these videos for you, these videos that is going to help you to ace your exams. So now we are on factorization trinomials. So we notice trinomials with three terms. The three terms, your variable having the highest power of 2, like that. So this is a quadratic expression. So for factorizing a quadratic expression is quite hard, right? So I'll start with factorizing when our value of a there is 1. I'll show you how you can factorize this with the value of a as 1. For an example, if you're having x squared plus 7x maybe plus 12, if you're trying to factorize this, we can see that our value of a there, it is 1. So if your value of a is 1, how can you factorize this? We can follow simple steps that also involves grouping. So the first step that you might want to do is to check the factors of c. So this is c, this value, right? So c is giving us 12. So you find the factors of 12, and this 12 is not just any 12, but it is positive 12. So what do you do now if you are trying to factorize this? We check the factors of 12. So we get 12 by multiplying 12 multiplied by 1. We get 12. And we can also use negative 12 multiplied by negative 1. We also get 12. We multiply 4 by 3. We get 12. Or we can multiply negative 4 by negative 3. We get 12. Or we can multiply 6 by 2. We get 12. Or negative 6 multiplied by negative 2. We get 12. So now we check our value of b. So we check the value of b, and we check which values here that are multiplying each other that we can add to get 7. So 12 plus 1 gives us 13. Negative 12 plus negative 1 gives us negative 13. 4 plus 3 gives us 7. So this gives us 7. So this, we can use these factors. So how are we going to use these factors now? We are going to replace these factors, this value of b, we are going to replace it by that. So we are going to write this in terms of that. So how do I mean by that? So we are going to have our x squared, and this positive 7x we are going to replace with our factors. So 7x, we can get it from 4x plus 3x. So 4x plus 3x gives us 7x. So now lastly we are having our 12. So now we are having 4 terms which we can use grouping. So we can group this with this and also this with that. So if you haven't watched our grouping video, you can watch it there. That is our factorization by grouping. So what can we do there? We can see that our common factor is x. So we can factor that out, and this will remain as x plus 4. And in this, if we can factor out the common factor, which is 3, so we can factor out 3 there, and we will be remaining with x plus 4. So x plus 4 and x plus 4 is common, so we can place it as x plus 4, then x plus 3, like that. It's factorized. Maybe let's have some of the questions that can widen your understanding on this. But always remember that this only works when your value of a is 1, when the coefficient of x squared is 1. So always remember that your coefficient of x squared must be equal to 1 for this to apply. So let's try some more questions to see how we can do that. Let's take a look at these 3 examples and apply whatever that I've been teaching you. So I said first we check our value of c. So obviously here the coefficient is 1, right? So we check the value of c. So our value of c is negative 15. So if it is negative 15 like that, we check the values that can multiply to give us negative 15. So negative 15 multiplied by 1 gives us negative 15, or negative 1 multiplied by 15 gives us negative 15. Negative 3 multiplied by 5 gives us 15, and also negative 5 multiplied by 3 gives us negative 15. So now we check the values that can add to give us negative 2. So negative 15 plus 1 gives us negative 14. Negative 1 plus 15 gives us negative 14. Negative 3 plus 5 gives us positive 2. And negative 5 plus 3 gives us negative 2. So this gives us negative 2. So we are going to take these values and replace that. So we are going to write negative 2x in terms of negative 5 and 3. So this will just be x squared minus 5x plus 3x minus 15. So we use this to replace that. So negative 5x plus 3x gives us negative 2x. So now we can group this with this and this with that. So the common factor there, it is x. So we can factor out x, and this will remain as x minus 5. And here the common factor, it is 3. So if we factor out 3, we're going to have x minus 5. So x minus 5 is common now. So we can just x minus 5 and then x plus 3. It's factorized like that. On our second question, we're having our value of c as negative 6. So which values can multiply to give us negative 6? So negative 6 multiplied by 1 gives us negative 6. Negative 1 multiplied by 6 gives us negative 6. Negative 2 multiplied by 3 gives us negative 6. And also negative 3 multiplied by 2 gives us negative 6. So now let's add these values. If they can give us negative 1 there, then those are our values that we are going to use. Negative 6 plus 1, it gives us negative 5. Negative 1 plus 6 gives us positive 5. Negative 2 plus 3 gives us positive 1. And negative 3 plus 2 gives us negative 1. So these are the values that we are going to use. So we can use these values to replace negative x there. So that will be our x squared, and this we can replace it by this and that. So that's negative 3x plus 2x and then minus 6. So we replace this by these two values. Now we can factorize by grouping, since grouping is the simplest. So here the common factor, it is x. So we can factor out x, and we'll be having x minus 3. And here we can factor out 2. 2 is common. So if we factor out 2, we'll be left with x minus 3. So now we can see that x minus 3 is common on both. So x minus 3, and we'll be left with x plus 2. As simple as that. So let's move to our last question, which we need the factors of negative 8. So negative 8 multiplied by 1 gives us negative 8, and also negative 1 multiplied by 8 gives us 8. Negative 2 by 4 gives us 8, and also negative 4 by 2, it gives us negative 8. So now let's add these values. Negative 8 plus 1 gives us negative 7. Negative 1 plus 8 gives us positive 7. Negative 2 plus 4 gives us positive 2. So this is the values that we are going to use, because they're giving us the value of b, which is positive 2. So we can replace this by that, or we can write this in terms of negative 2 and 4. So this becomes x squared minus 2x plus 4x and then minus 8. So this was replaced by these two values. So the common factor between the two, it is x, and we'll be left with x minus 2. And also the common factor there, it is 4, and we'll be left with x minus 2. And now x minus 2 is common on both, so we can factor out that. So that's x minus 2 and then x plus 4. So it is factorized like that. So let's move to the most complex ones, when our value of a is not 1 now. Let's see how we can work around that. Let's take a look at this type of factorization now, the most complex type of factorization. So these are some of the notes to take down that can help you to factorize these. So if you're having your terms, just like here, we are having our quadratic expression. So the first thing that you might want to do is to take out the common factor first. So here we don't have any common factor. And the second step, this is just to show you what to expect when you're having different types of equations, right, or expressions. So if you're having your terms with plus there, so it means that your middle terms will be plus and plus as well after doing the brackets. So it means that here will be plus and that will be plus as well if you're having plus and plus there. If you're having minus and plus there, just like we are having here, we're having minus and plus. It means that your brackets will have minus and minus. So it means that on this question, we expect to have minus and minus. And if you're having plus and minus, in your brackets you have plus and minus. But now, bigger products we have a positive sign. So these two numbers that are multiplying, they should give you a positive. So we must make sure that the product of the bigger numbers will be positive. And if you're having minus and minus there, also you're going to have plus and minus, but make sure that your bigger products gets a minus, or the value of the bigger product must be a negative. And also you must write the factors of A and the factors of C. So after writing the factors of A and the factors of C, we try to multiply them out to see which ones we have the difference or the sum of B. The difference or the sum of this middle term after multiplying, right? So let's see. So what are the factors of 6? So the factors of 6, we know that if we can multiply, so these are the factors of the value of A. So if we multiply 1 by 6, we get 6. If we multiply 2 by 3, we get 6. If we multiply 3 by 2, we get a 6, okay? So these are the factors of 6. What are the factors of this last term here? Also this last term we have 1 and 6, 2, 3, 3, 2, and also 6 and 1, like that. So we'll try to multiply out these values to see which ones will give us what we're trying to find. We're trying to find negative 13 in between, or the difference of 13. So if we multiply 1 by 1, we get 1. 6 by 6, we get 36. So 36 plus or minus 1, we don't get 13. So let's move to this and that. So 1 multiplied by 2, we get a 2. 6 multiplied by 3, we get 18. So 2 plus or minus 18 doesn't give us that. So it means that this and these values don't work. So let's try this and these values. So 1 multiplied by 3, that's a 3. And 6 multiplied by 2, that's 12. So 12 plus or minus 3 doesn't give us 13. So it means that that doesn't work out. So let's try this and these values. So 1 multiplied by 6, we already did that when we did this, right? So let's try out 2 and 3. So 2 multiplied by 1, that's 2. And 3 multiplied by 6, that's 18. And 18 and 2 doesn't give us the difference of 13. So it means that this and this don't work out. So let's try out 2 multiplied by 2. So 2 multiplied by 2 gives us a 4. And then 3 multiplied by 3 gives us a 9. So if we add 4 plus 9, we get 13. So it means that here we're using these values. So this is multiplying 2 and this is multiplying 3. So now what do? It means that now we are going to set up two sets of brackets. So in the first bracket, we're going to have 2x. So 2x. And in this, we're going to have 3x. Because these are the factors of what? Of 6x squared. So it will be 2x and 3x. So now this must multiply that. So it means that it must not be in the same bracket. Because the terms in the same brackets don't multiply each other. So this must be in the other bracket. So it means that this will be 2. And this is multiplying 3. So this and this term multiply. So this should be 3. And lastly, just because we know that this is minus and plus, then that will be minus and minus, like that. So it is factorized. So let's do 2 more examples, and I hope you'll be able to solve that on your own. So let's see here. So here we're having 6x squared minus 47x minus 8. So are there any common factors? There are no common factors. So let's see how our trinomial is built. So we're having minus and minus. So it is this type. So it is having minus and minus. So it means that on our brackets, we're going to have plus and minus. So it means that we are going to expect something like plus and minus. But now the bigger product gets the negative. The bigger product, so it means that here we expect the bigger to get a negative. So let's see. So now we write down the factors of 6 and the factors of 8. So the factors of 6, 1 multiplied by 6, 2 multiplied by 3, 3 multiplied by 2. And on this side, we are going to have factors of 8, which is 1 and 8, 2 and 4, 4, 2, 8 and 1. So these are the factors of 8. So now we want to check the factors that we can multiply and get the sum or the difference of b. So our b8 is 47. So we are trying to see which values can multiply out and get us 47. So let's see. So if we take these values and first multiplying them with these values, so 1 multiplied by 1, we get 1. And 6 multiplied by 8, we get 48. So let's check. 1 plus 48, it is 49. But 1 minus 48 gives us minus 47. So it means that these are the values that we need. So it means that 1 is multiplying 1 and 6 is multiplying 8. So we can set our brackets. So it means that on the first one, since these are the factors of 6x squared, so it means that the other one will be x because it is 1, and the other one will be 6x like that. So it's 1x and 6x. On these factors now, let's see where to place which one. So obviously 1 has to multiply 1. So it means that the one that has to multiply this must be in the second bracket so that it can be able to multiply that. And 8 has to multiply 6. So it means that 8 must come there to be able to multiply 6. But they said the bigger products must have a negative. So 8 multiplied by 6 will give us the biggest product. So it means that this must be negative. And the one that is multiplying this and this must be positive. So now we have factorized like that, just following these simple steps. So maybe let's have a last one, and then I will leave you with a lot of work to try on. Let's take a look at this final one. Let's see how we can solve that. So first we check out if there are common factors. There are no common factors. So how is our trinomial built? We're having plus and minus. So let's check which one is having plus and minus. This one is having plus and minus. So we know that if it is plus and minus, we are going to have plus and minus in the brackets. And also the bigger products gets the positive. So you expect the bigger products to get the positive. You can follow this through and do 20, 30 types of questions. You still get them correct if you just follow this systematically like that. So now we check our factors of this and our factors of that. So our factors of 12, we have 1 multiplied by 12, we have 2 multiplied by 6, and we also have 3 multiplied by 4. And on the factors of 15, we have 1 multiplied by 15, and we have 3 multiplied by 5, and we have 5 multiplied by 3, and we have 15 multiplied by 1, like that. So these are our factors in that way. So again, let's use try and error to see which ones we can use. So 1 multiplied by 1, we get 1. And 12 multiplied by 15, obviously is a large number, which is 180. So 180 obviously can't give us the difference of 8. So it means that these values and these won't work out. So let's try 1 multiplied by 3. It gives us 3. And 12 multiplied by 5, it gives us, is it 60? Yes. So obviously this cannot give us the difference or the sum of 8. So these ones won't work out. So let's try these values with these values. 1 multiplied by 5, it is 5. And 12 multiplied by 3, it is 36. So obviously these two cannot give us the difference or the sum of that. So it means that this doesn't work out. So let's try this and these values. 1 multiplied by 15, that's 15. And 12 multiplied by 1, that's 12. So this as well cannot give us the sum or the difference of that. So it means that this won't work out. So let's try 2 and 6. So if we multiply 2 multiplied by 1, this gives us 2, and then 15 by 6. 15 by 6 gives us 90. So they don't have the difference of that. So we can cancel that out as well. So let's see, 2 multiplied by 3 gives us 6. And 6 multiplied by 5 gives us 30. So 30 and 6 cannot have a difference of 8. So this we can cancel them out as well. So 2 multiplied by 5 gives us 10. And 6 multiplied by 3, they give us 18. So if we can subtract 10 and 18, yes, we can get 8. Because 18 minus 10 gives us 8. So now it means that we know that this value and that value, this value and that value gives us the difference that we need. So now we can set up our brackets like that. So the first bracket we have 2x and the other one we have 6x. So now 2x has to multiply 5, so it means that it must be in the other bracket, and 6x must multiply 3, so it means that it must be in the other bracket. And now which product is giving us the highest number? So 6 and 3 are giving us 18, which is the highest number, so it must be positive. And 2x multiplied by 5 is giving us the smaller number, so that smaller number is to be a negative. And that's factorized like that. I hope you enjoyed and you also gained a lot from our series of factorization. Please subscribe to our channel to keep on getting videos that will help you to master any topic that you might be having problems to. My name is Tifla. I'll see you on the next one. Have a lovely day.